Hello, Methuselahs. Welcome to a new episode of Live from the Tabletop. I'm Captain Thalco, and I'm here with my usual co-host, Mr.
MikeyNoFonts. How's it going, dude?
Sound you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very good. Cool. Very good at the moment, actually, especially in terms of tES.
Yeah.
You know, I am going to mention it. I am going to mention it at some point, you know.
well, I was about to bring it up, man. Yeah, we went to tournament in Norfolk a few weeks ago, Blood Turnip, and you got your first win.
I am the champion of the Blood Turnip. Yes, it's about time I won a damn event.
It was great that he had the little Funko Pop Edge to give out.
Oh, that was very cool. Yeah,
for me too. But so shout out to James Freimuller, and I hope I pronounced his name right as well.
Yeah. Oh, but, and also shout out to the people from Norfolk as well.
Yeah,
lovely people.
Really fun.
Really good players though as well. Really great players there as well. So definitely a real challenge. Definitely made me earn it as well. And also pretty good showing from the Lives from the Tabletop duo. You know, in the standings, we finished first and second, and got to that final table. So, you know, proud of us, man. Cool. Yeah,
it was my first time as top seed. Shame it didn't pay off. But,
after we did the whole podcast about where you sit, choosing where you sit at the final table if you can, and then you picked possibly the worst space that I
I sat to the left of a Tremere wall deck that stealth bled me every turn, which was very unsurprising, but it's good fun anyway.
Yeah, and to be fair to you, you just didn't draw any of your deflect cards or anything like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of
as well. Yeah.
Rough games, you know, is the thing. But today we come with a completely different sort of topic than usual. We've had quite an influx of new players recently in our group, and the discussion of sourcing cards comes up quite a lot. So we've
definitely struggling with that myself at the moment. With trying to build a collection. Packs. By the way, if anyone's got any dog packs, just name your price, man. I will fork out $1 for them. Like serious cheese.
Yeah, I've been unable to find a Black Forest base as well. No sign of them anywhere.
I've got a Black Forest Gatto.
I think it might not fit well in the sleeve. Just kind of.
I mean, it will. It just smell after a few days.
Definitely counts as a mark card, regardless.
Yeah, fair play. Enough of our nonsense.
I've also tried to find dog packs. Can't for the life of it. So we're going to do one of these. I mean, we didn't think of it like this, but I just realized like we're basically doing one of these top 10 YouTube videos.
Yeah, top 10.
So here's our top 10. We've basically gone on eBay and seen what people are paying, because it's not, if we look at stores, we're going to look at what people are asking, but this is what people are actually paying. So any price we mention, someone's actually paid that amount. So it's not like speculation. It's fairly current actual purchase.
Cold hard facts
with cold hard cash. How we like it. We love it cold and we love it hard.
Oh gosh.
Lives on the Tabletop way.
That's what she said. Yeah.
So maybe we could kind of top of the pops. Oh no, you don't want to actually. There's some dodgy people presented that over the years. We don't.
Oh gosh.
Do you want to get rolling, or you got any more stuff you want to?
Yeah. No. Well, let's get straight into it then, mate. And
okay, man.
So coming in at number 10 is a card which is called My Enemy's Enemy. And so one of these will set you back a whole whopping 29 English pounds. That's about what, like €3 in the current economy?
Oh, we should be listing the prices in Ugandan dollars, shouldn't we?
Yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, £29. And by the way, like that's like for all of the Magic converts coming here and watching this. Would be like what, £29? That's nothing. I'm used to paying $2,000 for a single land card. Like, you know, one of the things I do like about tES is that generally the game is a lot cheaper to get into.
Yeah, so these are huge exceptions to the rule. So if you're a new player, don't be startled. You can very easily live without them. A lot of them are quite niche cards.
Yeah.
So that it would be a minor 139,767.5 Ugandan shillings for this card.
Oh wow, you've actually gone on the conversion rate. That's incredible. Yeah, well, if you don't have any Ugandan shillings, then £29
Yeah,
will be just fine.
It all converts through PayPal. So
what is it in Republic credits? Republic credits will be just fine.
No, we don't accept them. I'm not falling for these mind tricks.
Fair enough.
I'd like to say I know like it's the guy in the Phantom Menace and he's like I'm a whatever, but I don't. Yeah. I'm not one of those people who can tell you praise.
That's fair.
I'm not fly big nose man.
Yeah, we're not nerds here, guys. We're not nerds.
Yeah, we're not nerds.
Gosh, we're super cool.
Yeah.
We're super cool. Well, let's have a look at this card anyway. So
let's talk about vampires.
Yeah. Yeah, +1 intercept, only usable when a minion is controlled by your predator is bleeding you. After blocks are declined, lock this reacting vampire. The acting minion is now bleeding your predator's predator. Yeah. I think that's quite a fun worded card. Like they've had fun with the wording for sure.
Well, like a lot of cards of it, the flavor comes out really well with the rules.
Yeah.
It's good. They're entwined quite well with this card. My enemy's enemy is getting dicked over rather than being my friend in this instance, though.
Yeah.
The reason this card is so good is you tend to play a couple in conjunction with telepathic misdirection, and the main reason is anyone who's played Auspex and has tried to block things, they know how important having different versions of intercept is during an action. Because if you've got 3 telepathic misdirection in your hand, and you get 1 intercept to block that political action, and then you play 1 stealth, that's that. But this will let you climb that because it's a different named card. It also doesn't cost blood, which is quite nice, but I get the impression it's more the different card name that counts.
Yeah, and I've just noticed something else that's quite cool about this, and I was just about to ask it, but I've just seen it there in the rulings, because I'm obviously primarily a dominate player, and I hate it when you get down to the final 2 and you sat there with a bunch of deflections in your hand. I'm pretty sure you can play this in a 1v1 situation. Can you?
As you just said, can be played if there's only 2 players in the game. The target of the bleed is unchanged. So basically it doesn't do anything because your predator's your predator's predator is you.
Yeah.
You're not bleeding me anymore, you're bleeding me.
What I'm saying is you can still play it to cycle it.
Well, yeah, because like it doesn't factor in as doing nothing, really, because it locks your vampire.
Yeah.
So there's a downside to playing it.
Yeah.
The main thing about the 1v1 though is the basic is intercept, which is again an advantage of telepathic misdirection as well. That's the same.
Yeah.
So you can. Okay, somehow my predator's not bleeding me. However, I can block their undirected actions using the intercept.
Yeah, I just think it's quite funny to, be in that 1v1 situation. Lucky vampire go, "You now bleeding me?"
Yeah. But that's not all.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's quite a fun.
Yeah, it is quite funny.
A fun way of looking at that card. What decks does this appear in then?
Most Auspex decks, really. Wall decks, toolboxy decks, combo-y style decks. Any like deflection. If you're in the if you're in the discipline for it, you're going to run deflections, and this is no different. Like I say, it tends to be a 1 or 2 of with a lot of telepathic misdirections to back it up.
Yeah. So why is it so expensive then?
Because it's not had a reprint, and I believe it might have been a rare. I'm not too sure on that, but it's not had. I don't know does that give you the option to see the printings there? I
don't know actually. Let me have a look. So it says sets Sabbath War.
Yeah, so it was a rare in Sabbath, War, Anarchs.
It was in 3rd edition in 2006. So
it was uncommon in 3rd edition.
Obviously, a long time since this card has been printed.
Yeah, and the other thing with 3rd edition. So 2006 was the last printing, and third edition was huge. So even though it's uncommon, you're still unlikely to get them because there were so many cards in that set.
Oh, cool. So the next card, by the way, that we've got coming in at number 9, is a card that has been is quite controversial, and there's a reason that they can't reprint it. PJ, talk to us about this card coming in at £31.32.
So yeah, Mind Rape. There's been a lot of discussion. There was huge arguments about it. I should have got my Mind Ape meme. I should have found that. It was really funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, this became quite a meme topic a few years ago when a few cards got banned because of unacceptable by modern standards names, and this people were arguing should have been one of them. It's an unfortunate card. Like, I'm always in two minds over this because we are set in the world of darkness, and bad things, the worst things happen in the world of darkness, right? Because they happen in our world, and that's usually a part of the story that humans are actually worse than the vampires in a lot of degrees. So yeah, but I don't really want to see it on the shelf either. I see why it's an issue. I understand the connotation of the word and how it can be really upsetting to a lot of people, who, especially those who experienced it, right? It's a sloppily named card, really. I mean, we could easily name it something. Name changes have happened as well. So, like, even basic things like in Jihad, the Spirit's Touch, it's now Spirit's Touch. Then there's Kind Dominance is now called Dominate Kind. No issue. There's also a Gang Relativism. I can't remember what the other name of it was, but that got renamed as well to something totally different. Gangrel de-evolution became Gang Relativism. So this going from what it is now to mine something else isn't even it's something that's happened already. It's a kind of precedent that we're not breaking. So I don't think there'd be an issue if rather than I think that'd be better than a functional reprint, because if we errata the name, we won't get people still trying to buy it. Because if you think that you can go, okay, I'll do whatever the new version's called, then I'll free drive and then I'll Mind Rape. So it's still a relevant card. So I think the only way to get around the name is to just rename it and say. I don't think necessarily the old ones have to be banned, but I think maybe know your audience in that regard if you're a player with it,
I mean, in terms of what the card does, though, in game, it's quite a good card.
Yes, it's very good.
So let's have a look at what it does. So at basic Dominate, bleed with +2 bleed. That's already a great effect. And then at advanced Dominate, which is the spicier part of what this card does, it says lock a younger vampire and put this card on that vampire. You still control this card. This vampire does not unlock as normal. During your next minion phase, burn this card to unlock this vampire and take control of him or her until the end of your turn.
Yeah.
Ouch.
This is quite often
that can be such a blowout, though. In general, like, just like amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah, what a blowout. For sure. Go on. What other card is it played with then?
Oh, so it's often played with a card called Baltimore Purge. I don't know if you want to have a quick little rummage and get that up. It's basically a card where you take an action and everyone sends a guy into torpor the next turn. So the idea with this card is you can throw them away with the Purge. Yeah, so you want to give that a quick read?
Yeah, so Baltimore Purge, if this vampire is Ravnos, this action is at +1 stealth. Put this card on the acting vampire. During your unlock phase, burn this card. And each other Methuselah chooses a ready vampire he or she controls who is not older than this vampire. If you control a ready La Sombra, you choose the vampires instead. This vampire and the chosen vampires go to torpor. Owie. Oof. So take this vampire that I've just nicked, put it in torpor, and a bunch of other vampires as well.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
So you also
spicy.
kind of leave them without. So if you go, I'll
Yeah.
steal your guy,
Oh, and
and
it takes
then
their other one as well.
then the other one goes to
Yeah.
torpor. So then you can then use that vampire to like grave rob and stuff. So grave robin's like you choose a vampire in torpor and put it into your uncontrolled region.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can pay 2 blood to put it into your ready region. So you basically just send people's guys to torpor, bring them back out. And even if you don't get to do the whole combo,
Mm-hmm.
this plus Mind Reap is 2 less vampires that they have.
Yeah.
So most decks are going to be
Whew.
empty, sitting there defenseless.
Yeah, cool.
Uh,
Well, that's a pretty cool deck
Yeah.
idea, yeah, for sure. And I'd like to see something like that happen, possibly with a renamed card, though.
Well, I bet you'd like to be on a different table and watch it happen to someone else.
Yeah,
if
for
you were
sure.
playing Stanislava, you definitely wouldn't want to see Baltimore Purge happen.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And on that note, coming in at number 8. And this will set you back a whopping £30 and 80 pence. It's Madness Network. Madness Network. Let's have a look at this one then.
Give a read.
Unique MasterCard. So, put this card into play. Unlocked Malkavians can take actions in any Methuselah's minion phase. So it's basically like a little bit like an ankle cog.
Oh, yeah.
So following normal sequencing rules, any minion can burn this card as an action that any unlocked Malkavian, in addition to the normally eligible blockers, can attempt to block. Interesting. So it's not even a ready Malkavian, so like you can rescue yourself as well. That's pretty nuts. Because ankle cog is when you're ready. Is it when you're ready? Can't remember. Anyway.
No, I think you can use cog either way. I'm not 100%.
Can you? Okay, all right, fair enough.
I haven't got the card from me, but I'm pretty sure you can.
Oh no, just like you need the blood on it. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about another ruling. Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. Yeah, so Madness That works fantastic, especially in like defensive Malk decks. So generally, you'll keep all your guys unlocked, block everything you can or need to, and then bleed afterwards. And you then unlock, and you've got the edge. And there's a vampire that is quite popular with it called Victoria, I believe, is the one. Yeah, Victoria is card special text. Is during your master phase, you may burn the edge to gain 2 pool if Victoria is ready. So you go, once you finish with your actions, I'll bleed for 1, unlock, I've got the edge, I gain 1, I'll burn the edge, I'll gain an extra 2. So you gain 3 pool when you unlock, which for a wall deck is invaluable. That 3 pool is for a wall deck.
That's pretty huge. Yeah, and so here she is. Yeah, during your master phase, you may burn the edge to gain 2 pool if Victoria is ready.
The other vampire who is popular with it is called Rachel Brandywine. If you want to give her a quick look.
Yeah, sure. How's this one work then?
Well, the main thing is she's got Prothean.
Yeah.
So you basically combine it with Earthmeld. So you can Eagle Sight block, Earthmeld unlock, bleed, Wake block, Earthmeld, bleed, and you can kind of do that on everyone's turn. But there's also a retainer called Homunculus, which gives you the ability to burn a blood to unlock in anyone's unlock phase. So you give a Perfectionist. So you go, right, burn a blood to unlock, bleed, gain 1 Perfectionist. You'll go, burn a blood to unlock, bleed. So if you get rolling while there's still 5 players in the game, that's 5 times she gets to bleed in 1 round.
She's got +1 bleed as well, which is
Why
is that necessary, man?
Well, you can also ankle cog her as well to get the extra 1 because she's a 10.
Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah.
Or you can play it with Anima Gathering, which is you lock like a weenie Auspex guy. The basic Auspex, you keep a guy locked and it gives +2 intercept to a vampire. so you choose Rachel, obviously. At advanced, it gives +1 bleed as well, so you can then bleed for 3. You can second trap and block with 4 intercept. It's a really funny deck. It's one of my favorite decks. I remember not long after I got back into the game, like a mate of mine played it, and I was just like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome. Why is it so expensive then?
Because the problem is the decks that run it want to run like 3 to 6 of them, right, to make sure you get it.
Yeah, fair.
This is the first one in the list that I actually own.
Yeah,
I've got 3 of these bad boys.
I've
just checked
last printed there in Keepers of Tradition 2008.
Yeah, and in its 4 printings, it's been a rare each time. So
fair play.
Yeah,
fair play.
Although I did manage to pick mine up for about £2.50 when I first started getting back into it. But I couldn't find the 4th, and now I know why, because everyone else realised they wanted them as well.
Yeah. Well, you've saved yourself 28 quid on each one of them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice, to be fair. Cool. Well, let's and so
investment portfolio.
Yeah. So the next one that we've got in the whole list is probably the one with that's got my favourite name.
Yeah.
Because it's named after a biscuit. It's a Garibaldi. Shout out to fellow Garibaldi eaters of the world.
And any bald men called Gary out there as well.
Yeah. Well, that's my dad.
Shout out for Baldy Gary.
Shout out to my dad. Gary the Baldy.
just remember, Gary, I never said that, he did.
Yeah, like my dad watches anything I do. He's never been proud of me, PJ.
Wait, he'll watch this when he knows you've been slagging him off.
Yeah, that's fair. And then he'll kill me from afar.
Negative attention is still attention, right?
Yeah, it's fair. Bad publicity is good publicity. All publicity is good publicity. So yeah, it's a MasterCard, a unique location. Lock and burn 1 pool during your unlock phase to exchange the card in your ash heap that requires an Anarch for a card from your hand. Lock before range is determined to end combat between an Anarch you control and another Anarch.
Exciting stuff.
What a strange card. So,
well,
it's one of those, again, like, so as someone who's, still learning about cards outside the game, and every so often, like, a card will come up that is just so wordy like this. So it's like, to exchange a card in your ash heap that requires an Anarch for a card from your hand is a mouthful. What does that mean? Explain that to the noobs of the world.
Right, you pick a card in your bin.
Yeah,
that has the requirement of an Anarch.
Okay.
So that'll count Barrens stuff too. So you can get back bait and switch, the deflect that requires a Barren, or you can get back like an action card that says requires an Anarch, like Platinum Protocol.
You've got one of these, haven't you?
No, unfortunately. Or
do you not play this in your Gangrel Wall deck?
No, because I don't have them.
So, but you would. Yeah, fair enough.
I'm sorry. Can I get a wake or a deflect or an action or an enter combat or a combat card, whatever the hell I want from my crypt? Yes, that's amazing.
That would be pretty spicy.
And you get rid of whatever, right? So, like late game, you can get rid of any of those dead cards that you've got, like doubles of masters. One of your 6 madness networks, for example.
Yeah. So one of these will set you back a grand total of £33.37. Why that much for just one of these? Especially because it's a unique location. Surely you're only going to run one of these in your deck. As
you can see, one printing in one set, and Twilight Rebellion is one of those sets that has a lot of pricey cards in, because there was just a short print run for it, and it was the first time like Anarchs were becoming a bit interesting. So there's a lot of good Anarch stuff in there. We've just seen a reprint of one of the cards from it that was really good, that I can't remember the name of. Twilight Camp. Twilight Camp was in either the Gehenna or the other set that's just come out. I think, what was it called? The Berlin set. I think it's in that. So that's really good. There's a lot of cards from this set, just a bit of a pain to get because there's not many out there. But this is an incredibly powerful card. Like, considering people are calling for Asher tablets to be banned all the time, and this card just locks to get a card back from your bin. It's pretty. It's too much, really. The fact that it's got a second ability is laughable. It doesn't cost any pool, right? It costs you a pool to use, but that's not that big a deal. Lock is predetermined, so you've got a combat ability there as well, which is more relevant now because there's a lot of Anarchs. So someone in a Bourgeois deck, you're playing the Gang Rule, you're playing Earthmeld, and they're like, "Right, let's run it. Yeah, I've got all these cards. It's on signpost," and you just go, "That's fine. That's not."
It's such a good like break glass in case of emergency card, like because the amount of times you'll draw and not get the card that you need, like kind of like you did the blood turnip, like you just cycle through your entire deck and then just like whiffed. Like it would have been so nice if you had one of these. Like that
whatever I need back.
That would have just been game over, really. So
imagine this against the self-bleed deck, right? So you can go every turn, I'm gonna pay a pool to get back a deflect.
Yeah.
So you bleed me for 6, I deflect. I'll spend 1 pool and get it back.
Yeah. I mean, the only answer that I can think of to this would be like rewilding, just burn the location. But then outside of that, like, a lot of really good master cards like this would be like, a minion can burn this card as a D action.
Yeah, it feels like it should have something like that, right?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
You should be able to burn this thing.
But that's the reason it costs a lot of dollar, is because it's so good. And it's rare as well. Also, I think it's our second card from Brian LeBlanc.
Right.
As an artist. I think
he's a pricey guy, right? Prestige.
I think I think Mind Rape was one of them. And then so there you go. Random useless facts on Lives from the Tabletop. Oh, mate. Well, enough about biscuits. Let's talk about our card that is coming in at number 6. And it's Ancestor Spirit. Unique Master. Put this card on a Laban with capacity above 4. This Laban has +1 bleed and gets an additional vote in any referendum he or she calls. Now, when I first saw this card, I really wanted you to sing the flavor text to me.
Hang on, I can't see it properly. I'll load it up here. Hang on.
Because that is a meaty amount of flavor text. That was the first thing I noticed. Was like they have gone deep on the flavor text there.
Oh, and this is from a vampire in the game as well. Sometimes when you get flavor text this meaty, it's quite often like a literary reference or something, right?
Yeah.
The dead are not under the earth. They are in the fire that is dying. They are in the grasses that weep. They are in the whimpering rocks.
I have a very particular set of skills.
They are in the house. They're in the house. The dead are not the dead.
And I will find you. And I will kill you. Oh, mate. I mean, +1 bleed is pretty good. So is additional votes.
Master phase, +1 bleed. Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And
permanent.
There's hardly any Laban with capacity below 4. Well, it's supposed to refute 4s as well, but yeah. Like,
yeah.
Plenty of guys you can put this on. Put it on Anaburuku or whatever. It's just good. I think, like, generally, if you're playing a Laban based deck, it's going to be hard to not want this card. It's a free bleed, and its only condition is you have a vampire, which it's fine. Yeah. I can't really see many situations in which you don't want this in your Laban deck.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a great card, quite easy. Also, the artwork on it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah. I do quite like the uniqueness of it as well. Was in the set as well. It was in Legacies of Blood. in 2005 there. So again, yet another card that maybe we need to consider a reprint for.
Well, I remember there being some sort of not quite announcement, but at least like huge hint that Black Chantry were looking at reprinting the Legacies of Blood stuff that wasn't reprinted later, because it was another one where Legacies of Blood was a humongous set. It was really big, and I don't think the print run was that long for it, so not many people had access to it, and you'll find a lot of expensive stuff in this set. It started to go down. Oh no, sorry. They were talking. I think they were talking about the bloodlines within it. So we've already had like Daughters of Cacophony. There was a lot of stuff from Daughters of Cacophony and Salubri in this set. So there are a lot of cards that would have been on our list had they not been put on print on demand. For sure, we would have been seeing some of them. Okay, was it Guardian Vigil? I can't remember. No, that's not what I'm thinking of. I can't think of the name of the card, but there's a bunch of like Salubri stuff that was really expensive that I remember looking at and thinking I'm not paying for them, and they were over £35 at the time, and that was a year or two ago. So God knows what they'd be now if we hadn't have had the print and demand of them. So thanks for that, guys. Thanks for
nice one. Cool. Next up on our list, coming in at number 5, nudity warning. We'll share this one instead. We've got
it is as well.
Askinia Dakhlau. Yeah. Only in 3rd edition, 2006, the Gangrel Antitribute. So many brilliant disciplines as well. Like what a card, first of all. Great card, objectively powerful.
This card is absolute fire. It's just so good.
Yeah.
And the only thing stopping it from seeing more play is the availability.
Yeah.
I mean, she can instantaneous transformation and force march, so I'm in.
Multi-action, built-in deflect.
Yeah, animalism, one of my favorite disciplines.
Oh,
she's got thaumaturgy, so she can play magic at the smith. Just very little she can't do.
Yeah,
and the fact that she has a deflect written on a text is unreal. Like
that's bonkers.
All the complaints I hear about the Asher tablets and liquidations and stuff, and this card needs banning. I think that the way you stop that deck genuinely is this card, because this card is what makes that deck. Otherwise, Stealthbleed would be able to just rail it before it gets rolling. But this card just shuts down so many decks. My first ever tournament final, my Prey was playing the Master Phase deck, and I got attacked very quickly. I was playing like a Ventrue, what do you call it? Like stick money kind of deck. Yeah. So Ventrue Grinder, and I made a huge misplay just from being an amateur. Basically, I was on one transfer. I went for a 9 cap. I had 2 10 caps, and that same 9 cap in my crypt. Yeah. So I went for the 9 because I was like, I don't want to take too long getting them out because I've got Lutz as my predator. But it ended up really hurting me because then I couldn't govern down the whole game. So I'm stuck on the one. I'm stuck on the 1 vampire. I managed to eventually get a 5 cap out as well, but I can't get past Axinia in any way. It's all I can do. And even if you deflect, this is during each turn. So if you deflect onto them, they can deflect, and then you bleed, and they deflect. So you can't even gang up on the like. There was a guy playing Kindred Spirits, and he's like, "I'll bleed your prey for you," and I'm like, well, then it'll either go to me or your prey, right? Like, one player down already, so he's gonna deflect it, so it doesn't matter to me. There's no point. It can just dominate a table on its own.
Yeah, and it's group 4 as well, which I'm thinking about some of the other group 3 and group 5 vampires as well of the world, and I'm thinking just some of the stuff that you compare this vampire up with as well is just equally spicy as well. And she'll set you back £34.91,
Worth every penny.
which
I've
is
only got one of this.
considering what the card does,
Yeah.
it's just so unnecessarily good.
I'm just saying, if this was a Magic card, we'd be looking at hundreds.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking that. Cool. So we're getting into the dizzy heights now.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 4, setting you back a whopping £36.96. That's almost £37, guys. We've got, what is that coming over the hill? It's a monster. Is it a monster? We're about. Is it a copyright strike? Is it a copyright strike?
Yeah. We're so spot on there. We're gonna get done.
Yeah. Obviously, my singing talent is something that the viewers will not want me to bring up again. So, I'll stop. Yeah. So let me have a read of this card then. For those of you who don't know Monster at home, it's an archetype. So put this card on a ready vampire you control. Once each turn, when combat involving this vampire ends and the opposing minion is not ready, this vampire may burn a blood to unlock. A vampire may only have one archetype. I'm just reading this now thinking this would be really good in my Stanislava Punchy deck. Because not ready, like, burned counts as not ready, right?
Yeah.
So imagine, like Xavier, right? You go, tap Anathema, put it on one of them. You untap. You've already got a Laster on him. You got an assault rifle. Enter into combat with that vampire. Burn it. Gain 11 blood or whatever. Trigger monster. Unlock.
Yeah,
just
man.
All the multi-phase actions. But I'm afraid I don't have a spare 37 quid.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's a pain, isn't it?
What set is this? Lords of the Night 2007. That's such a great card, man. That is such a great card.
It's very good, isn't it?
That is. and I was just about to say there because Xavier's a 10 cap. You could put Enkilcog in there. And then
once per turn, yeah.
And so you can also use the monster effect during someone else's turn as well. Is like, like absolutely disgusting. That would be so hot. That would be so hot. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. And vampires can only have the one archetype. Is that correct?
It is.
Yeah. Cool. So we're learning. Yeah, great card.
Yeah, you can't put Perfectionist on it as well and get your blood back.
Yeah. Is there any main decks that we see this particular card in, or is it just decks like what I've just described, where you just try and abuse? Yeah.
Rush decks clearly want to run it. Any deck where
Deep Song deck. Yeah.
Yeah, like Immortal Grapple decks where you know that your
opponent
is not when you know your opponent's not going to be ready reliably, right? You can have this, and you'll taste the Vitae back to blood and go again, or Amaranth and Diablo Eyes and take the blood that way. Rinse repeat.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like it's hard to get blood out of combat. There's so many ways.
Yeah, I mean, like the Anathema deck that I'm building is, I think it's gonna. I'm hoping it's gonna be good. At the moment, my biggest worry, and I was talking about this with Katie yesterday, a player from our player group, is I showed her the list and I agree with her in that the deck's quite expensive. Not in terms of eBay expensive, but like it costs a lot of pool. Yeah. Like, you know, it costs a lot of pool, like to be getting the engines going. But like, if you can burn even just one vampire and get that pool back, you're flying. You're absolutely flying. So Monster, I think, could be a welcome addition to that deck, and I think I'm going to try and get my hands on one of these for sure, because that's...
Just get some minion taps in. Get your guy up to 11, bring it out, minion tap it down to 3, enter combat with an assault rifle, taste the Vitae,
Oof.
Minions happen again. Enter combat.
Yeah.
Amaranth.
Oof.
And you and with Anathema, you were saying, so I don't know if you want to show Anathema to
Yeah. I can
viewers
get
who
I
might
can
not
get one
know
of
it.
those up.
I think it's really funny in like a Banu Hakim deck with this card specifically, because you can steal blood to get them down to 0 blood, and then you can use that blood to unlock and do another action with monster.
Yeah. So here is Anathema. It requires a prince or a Justicar, just like Xavier. It seems pretty ideal. Choose a ready vampire.
Can he call it? Let's remember it.
Pardon?
Stanislava can't call the vote because she's not a prince of
No. You can't, but with Alastair, Xavier can call Alastair on behalf of Stanislava.
Oh no, Alastair requires Inner Circle or Justicar. So
yeah. But you can also put it onto another vampire who
you can,
who you control as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, choose a ready vampire. If the referendum's successful, put this card on that vampire. If that vampire with this card is reduced to 0 blood in combat, he or she is burned, and the Methuselah controlling the opposing minion gains pool equal to the burned vampire's capacity. Mate, personally, I cannot wait to do that to Baba Yaga. Can't wait. Just gonna like turn 3, cross table ally. Just don't care. I'm gaining 11 pool, mate. I'm gaining 11 pool. Attaching a dog pack to Xavier and then punching it dead for 4 rounds.
I want to make my goal is to convince you to make a deal in which you choose Stanislava for that, and so that I can get 11.
I mean,
I don't know what I'm gonna have to do, but that's my goal. Can you anathema your own Stanislava? And if you do, I will. ... That's my goal. For you to say yes.
I mean, that would be such an interesting play, though. Like, for example, like if it gets towards the end game and you've got like 3 players left.
Yeah.
Right, I could Xavier. To Xavier. Yeah, I could like anathema my own Stanislava, then enter into combat with Stanislava, like as a last hurrah for her, like smack the crap out of another vampire, but also like reduce Stanislava to 0, give my predator 11 pool to keep them in the game. That would, and then bring out another Stanislava because by that time.
Man. That'd be really interesting. So you could you could go right. I'll enter combat with your guy, leave yours on no blood, and then I'll play like Blair or something that costs the blood, which then takes it to 0. And then she burns. So you gain the pool, but also you don't have the capability of attacking me. So you're just gonna gain a pillow of 11 pool. So,
nice.
So cool. That'd be really funny.
That would be like an insane next level 200 IQ galaxy brain play. That'd be that'd be so good.
Anyway, I just want to point out you've once again derailed the conversation drastically to be talking about Stanislava. So yeah. Let's get on to the next card.
Well, welcome to Lives from the Tabletop, where we talk exclusively about cards.
Exclusively about Stanislava.
Yeah. Okay. So the next card, we're into the top 3 now. Top 3. And one of these will set you back. We're into the 40s now, mate. Dizzy heights. £43.13 plus postage and packing. Oh, and by the way, just to let people know, if people go, actually the card before that cost more, we're also taking into account that we need to pay for the cards to arrive at our door and not just leave them wherever they are in Finland or whatever. So maybe some cards aren't expensive as the one before them, but their packaging and postage does cost more. So just to let you know. So next one is Contagion. This is an odd card because first of all, the first thing that I noticed about this was this here. Yeah. I don't know what that discipline is. I don't think I've ever even seen it before.
Come on, man. As a Christian, you know what a pitchfork means, right? It's the devil.
Wow.
The devil.
It's the devil.
Yeah. No. This is called Dominion or Daemonian. It's like
Is that just like a person from New York saying Dominion? Dominion. Dominion.
Have a Dominion, a coffee, and a cheeseburger.
Bada bing. They said the card was fugazi.
Yeah.
It's printed on demand.
Wonder how many American subscribers we've just immediately lost.
Yeah, we just lost so many people.
Don't forget to unlike and unsubscribe.
Yeah, definitely. Oh gosh.
Yeah, so it's the Infernalist discipline. So Barley pretty much have it, and then the odd other Infernalist will have it too.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any printed vampires that have it that aren't infernal, but you can get it through means without being infernal. But you'll see a lot of the cards, like this one, the good ones anyway, will say requires an infernal vampire.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
even
the
if
second
you can
thing,
cheat it in, it's still so
Yeah.
it's more powerful in most disciplines as a result.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, before we go into the card, like the second thing I want to point out about this card is that the artwork looks like every Scouse mum from the 80s.
Nah, she needs to
like-
be in like a teal.
Yeah, my mum
jacket.
defo had this haircut, and I'm sure everyone else's ma had a haircut like this as well.
Mate.
Like that's
Like-
unquestionable.
That's both your parents we give a shout out to. So if you're not watching it,
Yeah,
you're disappointing your son.
it's all right. They don't love me anyway, so.
You'll find
Anyway,
something.
let's read the card. Let's put some actual content out, shall we? So yeah, plus one stealth action requires an infernal vampire. It's unique. So at basic Dominion, we put this card on this vampire. During each other Methuselah's unlock phase, they burn one pool if this vampire is ready. Wow, that's like a walk-in Smiling Jack, or no, a walk-in Army of Rats.
Kind of, yeah, but it hits everyone, right? So
Wow,
it's more like an antediluvian awakening, I guess. But
Yeah.
it obviously
Well-
stacks with all those cards as well. So they're
like a
lot easier.
smiling Jack and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then it's got an advanced Dominion. It's like, so as the basic above, once each combat, this vampire can strike, put one corruption counter. I've never seen a corruption counter before.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll
So
talk
put
about
one
that.
corruption counter on the opposing minion. If the number of your corruption counters on the minion equals or exceeds their capacity or cost, you can burn those counters to steal the opposing minion after the resolution of this strike ending combat.
Pretty good, right?
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah.
Really spicy card.
And if you something I've not seen happen that I would absolutely love to see, right? So it gives you the ability to strike, put one corruption on counter on imposing vampire. And one of the coolest Barley in the game, the Unnamed, he's got advanced celerity, so you could actually blur and strike 3 times, put corruption counters on. I've not seen anyone do that, but I really want to because that would be really funny.
Do it, man.
Blur, press, blur. Take your Stanislava, right? Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if there is like such a big massive thing as like a proper money deck. Maybe like an Asher Tablets deck will come close in terms of like being like a more expensive deck to put together. But like that deck that you've just described there would probably come close because you'd have to run about, a good few Contagions to.
Well, here's an interesting fact about
get
this
it in
card that I want to make a public service announcement about.
Okay.
Can you just tell me how much it was again?
It was £43.13.
Okay. So this card is available on print and demand. This particular printing that you're looking at right now
With my mum
is
on it.
from, with Mikey's mum. You can own Mikey's mum. You can order it on demand. You can order a basket full of 400 of Mikey's mums.
400 me Julies.
Yeah, for a measly 35 cents plus tax. The shipping is obviously expensive to most places. Like it costs me about 20-25 quid if I order print and demand. But that is if I paid 25 quid shipping for one of these, I would still be saving like 15 quid on buying this.
Yeah, you would.
So please, people, just check print demand.
Like and subscribe for more money saving tips.
Yeah. I'm the money guru, man. But buy a Madness No works cheap, sell high, right?
Yeah.
So
to the moon.
Any Barley cards and Daemonian cards are available on print and demand.
Daemonian.
I think the information's all on the vkn.net site. So just look on there before you make any huge purchases and see if your card might be available.
Right, well, we're coming up to even more dizzy heights. And by the way, another Brian LeBlanc artwork coming in. Coming in at number 2, we've got Sunset Strip Hollywood, and it will set you back £49.29.
Mate, you had me a strip.
Yeah. Oh. Bow chicka bow wow. You had me a Brian LeBlanc.
Which
why is he just making so many expensive cards, man? Like, what is it about Brian? Was he just used in Anox 2003 and that was it? Like, Brian, if you're watching, shout out, mate.
Shout out. Send us some cards.
All your cards are so expensive, and if you sat on them, they're probably worth a pretty penny right now. So you might as well sell them while they're at the height. Yeah. So let's have a look at what this card is and what it does. We have another master. It's another unique location. It costs 1 blood. No, it costs a pool, sorry. Lock to give all vampires +1 stealth on hunt actions until your next unlock phase. Lock to reduce the cost to recruit a mortal ally or employ a mortal retainer by 1 blood or pool, but never less than 0 blood or pool. That's a great card. That's a really great card,
cool, right?
And I think I'm immediately thinking it could be used in Craig's Walker Kane deck. You know, I think he does spend a lot of time hunting.
To get the extra stealth on hunt, yeah.
Yeah. Just like every turn, just lock to give it +1 stealth on the hunt. Because I remember when me and you were at the final table in Blood Turnip, you were sat to the right of Craig, and even when Craig was trying to hunt, you were just like straight in there.
Yeah, well, that was the problem. I used a lot of my instep there because I didn't hit a Raven Spy or a location or anything that gave me instep permanently. So that was a big problem there.
But one of the things that you did was like you really damaged Craig's game just by stopping those hunts. So you know, what's his deck called again?
Well, I can't remember what he named it, but if you search the go on VTESDecks.com is a good site. We're using it right now.
Yeah.
You can just search Craig Raw. It'll come up. He uses what's it? Hemana, Hambrietta, Mayor, and Minor, whatever they're called. So basically, 2 caps come out, they lose the blood, so he's forced to hunt. And he uses the blood to pay for cards like Walker Kane to get huge bleeds in, invest it, then rehunts. So yeah, it'd be very powerful for his deck actually.
Yeah, it would. And I think he also does employ a couple of allies as well sometimes.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Doesn't he? No. Okay, I must be thinking of a different deck then. But yeah,
he's made a new ally deck. He's one of our local players. He's made a new.
Yeah. And so Craig made it to another final table yet again. So props to Craig.
Strong deck, really good deck.
Yeah. So we'll love to see a bit more of that. It's obviously so expensive, and this card. What other decks is this particular card used in? That's making it so expensive. Is it popular at all?
I think it's Embrace style decks.
Okay.
So Breed and Boon decks that are gonna. Because a lot of the problem is, say for example, you've got a Creepshow Casino. You can tap to give +1 when you tap when you announce an action to give +1 stealth on an undirected action. So quite often you'll see players go, "I'll make an Embrace. I'll use the Creepshow Casino. It's now at 2 stealth." And sorry if anyone doesn't know the Embrace, it's like a make a baby vampire card. There's a bunch of them, like 3rd Tradition Progeny. other ones, Tum the Moss. There's a bunch. So you make the guy, and then most of the time they then have to hunt. So when that vampire then hunts, you'd have to lock Creepshow Casino again. Otherwise, it's only at 1 stealth. So people will then block the hunt, and it'll get sorted.
Yeah.
So you've got to choose which action is going to get through. Whereas with Sunset Strip, you can use this on the action to make the vampire, and then get the stealth on the hunt. So it's quite popular in those style decks, I imagine. It seems like a no-brainer, doesn't it? Anything that's
especially because it's unique, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, seems strong. Seems strong.
And the fact that it can reduce the cost of Carlton Van Wyck is a nice bonus too.
Very true. Very true. So we are getting to the point where we're going to reveal one of the most expensive cards in all of VTES, according to eBay listings. And so we're going to get that one up now, which here it is. It'll set you back a grand total of £49.29. Just the same as Sunset Strip Hollywood, actually, but obviously the packaging and posting does cost a fair bit as well.
Yeah.
But this, again, for me, as like someone who just plays locally and occasionally goes to tournaments as well, these were not... The crazy thing about this card for me was that it's not just one discipline that I don't recognise, it's two. So there's like a pentagram and then a Yu-Gi-Oh card that's on fire. Like,
yeah. Okay.
Tell me what's going on here, mate. Educate me.
I will. I've just got one more thing I've realised as we went on to this. One more thing I wanted to say about Sunset Strip.
Yeah, sure.
I would urge Black Chances to reprint it, not just because of the price, but because it feels like it goes so well with the new Fall of London stuff. There's a bunch of Mortal Allies in that set. Being able to reduce the cost
very true
would be great. So it's a backup for the shards. I think it'd go great in helping that be a deck, because I think everyone kind of wants it to be a deck, but I'm not sure it's quite there. There's definitely some cool ideas. So I think it'd be a great card to go with it, I think.
Yeah, it'd be cool to like make like a bunch of like weenies that could do aggravated damage, and then just use the ECTU operatives to burn the vampire that's in torpor, and then just give your weenies +1 bleed or something like that, and just like just crater and go, kind of deck. Am I saying that right? ECTU operatives, something like that.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good card.
But they're really cool. Yeah, so it'd be a nice card to help that, be available. So anyway, Barrens. Not to be confused with Baroness.
And also, the funny thing that I noticed about this is the -2 cost in the bottom right of the card. That's
-2.
Odd. Yeah.
So put this card on a vampire and unlock this acting vampire. This vampire is sterile, and his or her capacity decreases by 2. And this is a +1 stealth action. At advanced, it's direct action, burn a vampire whose capacity is 1. So as you can see, it combos with itself quite well.
Okay.
With it too. I did have a quick look to see what this has been in 5 tournament winning decks, and the most recent one ran 12 copies of it. So it's
12 copies.
Yeah, it's not a one-off card. But I should probably address these.
That's like £600.
Yeah,
that's literally £600.
I don't think we'll be seeing it in the archives in 2023. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I should address these symbols you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So that's an action symbol. It's got like 2 arrows pointing out. That means it's an action. I'm just messing. Right.
Mate, I hate you so much. I was like, what? I'm like, I know what an action is, you turd.
So the card on fire is a burn option. Burn options are great. It's very rare you see them on a card, and when you do, they're usually kind of bloodliney, narrower cards, right? It basically means if you don't meet the requirements to play the card, in any player's unlock phase, you can discard it. So if you can only do one a turn. So if say for example, you've got 5 of this in your hand, and it's turn 1, and you're a 5-player table, you can burn it in yours, burn them around the table, and then when it's your go, you've got rid of 5 cards. So it's a very powerful thing. But you can only do that if you don't meet the requirements. So if you have a vampire with Maleficia, which is what the next symbol is, you can't do that. Now,
Okay, cool.
What's really interesting about Maleficia is it's not actually a discipline. So this is like me and Craig always have a little joke of going like,
You
actually,
had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
So you'll see that at the bottom of the basic one, you might notice it says after the reminder of to a minimum of 1, it says Maleficia is not a discipline, which is weird, but it acts like one, it looks like one, it has an advanced and a basic like one, but it doesn't.
So
count.
to quote Cat from Red Dwarf, then. So what is it?
What is it?
So what is it?
That's a thing that happens, isn't it? I'm not really familiar with the lore of it, to be quite honest. I believe it's like a sort of witchcraft.
Okay, cool.
So there was a set, as to the blood, I believe it was, that had Maleficia and Striga, which is the other one that operates the same way. Do you want to have a quick search for the card Maleficia? It's spelled
sure, will do.
Male FICIA.
It's all right. I went to primary school.
I just imagine that card, that name didn't come up a lot in primary school.
I went to a vampire school, so.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So Maleficia, it's a master trifle. Put this card on an infernal vampire. This vampire may play cards that require Maleficia, not a discipline. With 2 of these cards, he or she may play cards that require superior Maleficia. Burn this card if this vampire is not infernal. Okay, so it's like a hidden superpower thing that you can give to like this almost like forbidden secret hidden magic or something like that. That's what it feels like.
What it is. I think it's from the Dark Ages source books. I might be wrong. I'm not much of a VTM player. I've played like 3 sessions of it in my entire life. But from what I've heard from others, I think it's from the Dark Ages stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite an unusual one. So yeah, this is the only way to get the card, and it's not a discipline, because if it was a discipline, you could just go, I'll play this card that gives a discipline of my choice. I will choose this. I'll give this vampire Maleficia. He will teach this guy Maleficia using field training or whatever. So it gives a lot easier access to it. It's supposed to be difficult because the cards are that good.
Yeah.
The other discipline, if you want to quickly check up a card called Skobax.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story about that one. I don't know if did you get to meet Larry Salmi, one of the Finnish players? He's a great guy. We played together loads during lockdown. He made a deck that just spammed this card, and it was really funny.
So Skobax, what?
So this is Striga. This is the other. This
is
There's Maleficia and Striga. They're basically the same, but they're different.
Yeah.
There's different symbols.
Same, but it's different. But it's the same, but it's different.
They work the same way. They're not disciplines. Yeah. Like, you've got to teach them with MasterCards. So yeah, it's got a basic presence, which is cool, because Barley generally have presence, and they're most of the Infernal Vampires. I think generally Infernal Vampires tend to get presence because so people don't realize you're a demonic cultist. You can kind of hide it by making them like it.
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, this card at basic, inferior even. The acting minion gets -1 stealth. Advanced, it's as above, and the action ends immediately unless they burn a blood or life. So basically, Larry played this. He had like 2 guys that had Striga, and then he'd just go, anytime someone would take an action, he'd go pay a blood or it fails, and then you'd do it, and then he goes pay a blood or it fails. And then whatever action you were taking, I think he ran like 60 of the card because we were unlucky, so you could just get them, right?
That's hilarious. That is
And he'd just
really
go,
funny.
play. So like everyone had to constantly pay, and you can double it up with events. So there's events that are like when you play cards with advanced disciplines, you burn a blood, and this isn't a discipline, so it doesn't count. So you can use those events to like really take advantage of it.
That's so
it's
funny.
Really cool stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Amazing.
most expensive cards we could get hold of in Vitas.
Indeed. Yeah, and thanks for enlightening me as well on a couple of those non-disciplined disciplines as well. And in the comments below, let us know what the most amount of dollar you've ever paid for a card. Yeah. I'm still searching for dog packs as well. You can't.
I know what it's going to be next time we have a
Yeah. I know. I can't get hold of them for love or money.
£4,000 for a dog pack. I paid it though.
Yeah.
I reckon the real reason this card's so expensive, I reckon Hughes burnt every copy he's found.
Yeah. just to make the ones that he's still
just so they're not available anymore.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, but until then, folks, that's all from us from Lives from the Tabletop. If you haven't already, do please leave us a little like, and don't forget to subscribe as well for more of our nonsense. And until then, we'll catch you all next time. Peace out.
See you, folks.